Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is Mary, and today we're doing something a little bit different on this channel. We are going to be building my mantle. I'm so excited. My brother-in-law is coming over. Him and my husband are going to build it. I'm going to try not to get them in any shots because they're a little camera shy still, but we're about to get started. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. So here is what we're working with. This is the before shots of our fireplace and before the mantle was built. So for this whole time we've just had our TV sitting up here on a couple of pieces of tile just to keep it level, and we are about to get started on this build. You will see a level in many shots in this video. A level foundation is where you need to begin on any DIY project that you're doing. Right here we were just making sure that the bricks were level before we even started on the mantle. Here you will see the main piece of wood in this project, and that is a 4x8 by 3/4 inch maple smooth plywood. This was a really smooth piece of plywood that limited the sanding that we had to do. Here are the saws that we would be using, and that was a miter saw and just a small table saw and some extra 2x4s that we were using for framing. These are two 1x8 by 8 white pine boards and one 1x8 by 6 white pine board. Those will be for the front and the sides of the mantle build. After cutting those frame boards, my brother-in-law is just making sure that the boards are level, and he will use shims if needed to make sure that they're completely level. As you can see there, that is not a perfect board, and my husband is scabbing in another piece there. Just so you know, on your framing pieces, it does not have to be perfect pieces of wood. These can be scrap pieces that you've used for other projects. They will not be seen. Throughout this build, you will see us using tape. We are putting those on the cut lines that we're making, and it prevents a whole lot of splintering. It will not prevent every bit of it, but it will keep it to a minimum. Now we're just getting the measurements for the top piece of the mantle. Since we have this U-shaped cutout, they need to get the measurements of where they need to cut this out. This just takes a little bit of math skills and a measuring tape and my father-in-law directing them. I never ever take for granted the fact that I am super blessed to have a husband, a father-in-law, and two brother-in-laws that are very, very skilled in construction. We built our house ourselves. We built my brother-in-law's house ourselves, and I include myself in that. I really didn't do a whole lot, but it's fun to be a part of that. So I know that I am super blessed in that area to have people that are skilled in craftsmanship. This little oscillating multi-purpose tool is one that you need to add to your toolbox. It is so handy to have, and it gets in small corners, as you could see there, and it's just one that you really need to add to your toolbox. And I guess our guys are some mathematicians as well, because this thing fits like a glove, and it looks so good. Here we're just making sure the overhang is the exact same amount on each side and in the front. And now we're using a brad nailer or a finish nailer to just make sure the top is secure to that framing that we made in the beginning. So right here he's using a miter saw to just miter each corner for the front piece and side pieces. So our miter saw wouldn't cut all the way through this wood to the very bottom, so what he did was just turn it over. He turned the board over and then also changed the direction of the miter, which is just so confusing to me. That stuff blows my mind, but they know what they're doing, and right here you see that that cut was absolutely perfect. If you're building something similar to this, or even floating shelves or something along those lines, and you are wanting to miter each and every board cut that you make, that is totally fine. The reason we didn't on this, we just did the front board and the side boards on miter cuts, is because there's just so much room for error. If you make a wrong cut, that's just money down the drain and another trip to Lowe's. And speaking of Lowe's, my husband had to make a run because we had put some of our boards just in a pile, and the 8-foot board accidentally got cut, and it should not have been. So he had to run and get another 8-foot board. So learn a lesson from us and just let your cut person know what boards need to be cut or what they're for, so that mistakes aren't made and you're not wasting time. We took a scrap piece of wood and made some blocks that we are using as framing underneath. That way we have something to screw the mantel bottom to. While they're finishing up the bottom and the sides, my father-in-law and I are taking this Minwax wood putty in the color walnut, and we are just filling all these holes in these corner pieces. We have found that this wood putty covers really well after you stain. Some putties and wood fillers that you use might be a different color after you stain, but we have found that this works really well and it covers nicely. You can't even tell that it's there. In case you're curious, the dimensions of our fireplace are 7 feet wide by 5 feet, and that 5 feet is from the bottom of the mantel to the floor. The dimensions of the mantel will be 7.5 feet wide by 8 inches, and that 8 inches is just that top, from the top of the mantel to the bottom there. The width of the top of the mantel is 20 inches, and those two side pieces on the top are 9 inches wide. My father-in-law is just beginning the task of sanding this mantel down. That evening, my husband and I made a trip to Lowe's to buy some more sandpaper, but what we found was a sanding block that had several different types of paper with it. It had 120, 220, 80 grit, and those were all the things that we needed to complete this sanding project. You will not see it. We did it off camera, but we did a ton of sanding. We just wanted to make sure that this thing was super smooth and looked perfect. I'm just gonna I'm just getting a few clips. It's gonna be like the magic of YouTube. We always have so much fun when we're doing a project. Our family is very unique in the fact that we are super close. We have Sunday lunches together every Sunday. We all go to church together. It's just a great family dynamic, and we have a ton of fun while we're doing things like this. Now it's time to hang the TV on the mount, and yes, it looks like they almost dropped it, but if you're wondering, this is an LG 75-inch television, and we absolutely love it. We have an LG in our bedroom that we've had for almost 10 years, and it's still going strong. I highly recommend that brand. And we hung our TV 8 inches from the top of this mantle. I wanted plenty of room to be able to put garland at Christmas time and other decorations underneath if I wanted to. So here's the mantle, unfinished and ready to stain. Like I said, we did a ton of sanding on this and got it all cleaned up. My husband taped everything off, and we put plastic around the fireplace. We've learned over the years that it pays to prep your projects, and I'm pretty messy when I paint and stain, so it was needed. We are using the color Special Walnut in our stain. It's by the brand Minwax, and it is just a really, really nice, warm and neutral farmhouse style color of stain. It's not too red, it's not too brown, it's absolutely just the perfect farmhouse style color of stain. And this is what it looked like after one coat of stain, and that is all we ended up putting on it. We didn't want to put any polyurethane at this time. We just liked the color of this and the matte finish. There will not be any cups being sat up here or anything wet, so we felt like at this time we don't need any poly. We may do that in the future, but right now we're just going to leave it as is. At some point in the near future, we will be buying or building some corbels to put underneath just to add a little bit more character. We absolutely love the mantle, but we think some corbels would just be a finishing touch that would just make it look extra special.
Wish that I could stay. Wish for this moment to never go away. But it's all in my mind, and though I know that there is nothing to find, you're a beautiful sight in the summer night, and you can't put up a fight in the misty light.
Well, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and do so. You don't want to miss a thing. This week, I will be posting my fall living room decor video. I'm so excited. I hope that you guys love it, and I hope that you have a wonderful week. God bless you all.
What your life came to be.